is you don't want to be in nothing. The angst of being nothing is what produces anxiety. The little boy in the little league, he wants to be number one. Nobody wants to be left behind. You just don't want that because that is an abyss. So if you can identify, let's take a young man that's down and out, has nothing but a ripped t-shirt and a dirty t-shirt and a pair of Levi's. He has no self-esteem, he has no job. If he goes in, for instance, into the Marine Corps, he will then find himself a vehicle to move up in his little world. He will take on the entire history of the Marine Corps, the proud Marine Corps, the identification with a winner. He suddenly just grapples onto that. He assumes that, and he feels very empowered because now he's somebody. He has something. And so if he didn't make it himself, like Steve Jobs or one of the great Carnegies or whatever, he then feels I'm somebody and I'm not going to be left behind. So we come up to this equality question, and there's always been inequality, but we always have not had revolutions, right? I think that a big shift was when we moved our jobs away to China and Mexico. I think that the inequality that we had to have experienced to the paramount degree was probably after World War II in the 50s. There's a new book written on that subject, and I'll read to you just a little bit of it. It says, the author describes the middle class as the middle 3/5 of income and distribution in the mid-20th century America, which he argues cannot fairly be described either as rich nor poor. No need for revolution there. In 1950, 60% of American families, 60%, enjoyed incomes between $2,000 and $6,000, which translate into about $22,000 to $66,000 today. Middle classes meant just not to be secure and have retirement, he writes, but also knowing that your children, that's a very important one, right? We all want the best for our children. Even though we didn't have it, we want them to have it. That their children is likely to do better than their parents. Middle-class America in 1950 was particularly all white, with traditional families. 65% of the households earned between $3,000 and $4,000, and only one breadwinner. So if you're busy going on your camper on the weekends, you're going fishing, hunting, you have hobbies, and you're not going to have a revolution. Eric Hoffa said it. You're not targets for revolution. You're participating. When they took Khrushchev to the Ford factory, he said the Ford Jr. said, "Look out the window." And when Khrushchev was trying to indulge in the great honor to be a communist, he said, "Look at those cars out there. They all belong to the workers." In other words, they're participating, and they have a job, they have self-esteem, worth, and they are very happy and proud that they're able to support their families. I think that's just really important. So these were the Halcyon years. I think that we had no revolutions. I think if societies throughout the world had that kind of an opportunity that comes along once in a lifetime, or never for some people, we will see that the seeds of revolution are not going to take place. We are participating in the earnings and the goodies and the spoils of living. So that period dissipated because in my judgment, because the jobs were removed. And you may have a little town in Indiana that's making refrigerators, and all of a sudden it moves to China or Mexico. And isn't it ridiculous to look at the border of China and Mexico? On one side, you see a desert, and on the other side, you see all these factories just lined up. Why? cheap labor because they went across the border and they sold America out. And here you have people unemployed with no jobs. And I think the number of total jobs, I used to know the thousands of numbers, have moved out for that purpose. So therefore, you have people who are unemployed have to struggle for new jobs. I think Adam Smith, which is going to be my next book, talks about, well, people are very resilient. If you box them out of one job, they'll just go ahead and qualify for another job. Well, this educational system we have now is another